Did you know that despite the growing buzz around artificial intelligence, only 3.9% of companies report actively using it? According to the U.S. Census Bureau, overwhelmingly, workforce adoption is still at the very early stages of this transformation journey. But how can this be possible? We've all heard examples, some on the show in fact, just how artificial intelligence is reshaping industries around the world, like using machine learning to train datasets to perform tasks like predicting price fluctuations, scaling creativity so your marketing can reach more audiences in a personalized way, even capturing patient visit notes, allowing doctors to spend more time with their patient, enhancing the overall doctor-patient experience. The reality is, not all organizations are ready, despite all the positive use cases. It's not just a large capital investment to either build or buy AI tools and capabilities. There's also a significant human capital investment organizations must account for to have a workforce that's trained, ready, and motivated to adopt these tools. Welcome to Columbia BizCast. I'm your host, Fahad Ahmed. And in this episode, I'm excited to share audio from an interview between Professor Stephan Meier and Todd Jick as they discuss their latest research around how AI is reshaping the workplace and transforming the future of work. They share tips for business leaders like yourself on ways to practically implement AI into your organization in a manner that accounts for the fear and resistance large transformations naturally bring. Let's begin from hearing from Professor Meier, the James P. Gorman Professor of Business, just how him and Professor Jick were inspired to conduct this research and their top-line observations.
A couple of months ago, when all this AI hype became really to the forefront, Todd and I met in the hallway and started talking about AI and both figured out that what really interests us is the human side of the human-machine interaction. We thought about how can we create this human-centric future of work? How can we really deeply think about change management tools and human motivation and thinking about how to implement AI in a way that really lets it to succeed in an organizational context. I think there is, in particular, three ways in how AI and the integration and human-machine interaction affects leaders and the integration, and it has mainly to do with implementation. The first is humans are generally very anxious about change, and obviously in AI, where the whole discussion is about replacing humans, they're even more anxious about that AI comes for their job and what is actually left for them to do. Second, what leaders need to do is make sure that their workforce is ready and has the right skills for their new ways of working. And third, I think it's for leaders to figure out how to implement AI in an organization in order to create more value, not just thinking about how we can do stuff more effectively. How to actually use AI in order to make the organization work better and not just more efficiently. I think in the end, this is not only a technical, but actually a very human change management process.
Any successful implementation of AI into an organization requires a thoughtful strategy to help employees embrace change and overcome resistance. It's just too big of a transformation to simply roll out. But historically, organizational changes at this level struggle. To understand why, here's Professor Todd Jick, a renowned expert in leadership and organizational change.
We have a checkered history about organizations taking in changes. In fact, most studies, PhD students, researchers, management consultants show about a 75% failure rate of introducing organizational changes. This is a broad-scale organizational change when it comes to AI. And all of us need to take an important perspective on the fact that this is going to take work to get into the 25% category. Now, why do we have that kind of ratio of success to failure? Because we have been unsuccessful in dealing with two main reasons why people resist change. One, they're unwilling to change. Two, they're unable to change. Those are two very different reasons. They're unwilling to change for many reasons, because they fear for their jobs, because they fear their loss of status or identity, because they haven't been included in the process, and because they haven't been informed well enough and communicated to. Ironically, when you talk to leaders about the actual occasions in which they explain the benefits of change, and we've done research on this, only 61% of leaders are reputed to actually explain the benefits of change, the simplest minimum. Only about 45% speak to employees on a one-on-one basis. But in fact, 75% think simple enthusiasm will win the day, trying to be enthusiastic. Well, employees want more than that. So their unwillingness to take in something like AI comes from reasons that have to do with sort of their motivation, the incentives, the degree of inclusion, and their actual ability to be able to use the tool. Obviously, there has to be a value in what the AI will produce, some deliverable that is valuable. Our concern, however, is that there's been an over-indexing on the technology and the value question and an under-indexing on how this gets accepted or implemented. And I used to say very simply this: a good idea badly implemented doesn't go anywhere. Obviously, a bad idea beautifully implemented is not a good thing either. But what we're trying to do is emphasize the importance of implementation. We need to find ways in which there's more transparency. We need to find ways to involve employees in a much more fundamental way, earlier and often. And we need to find ways to deal with one of the sensitive issues, and I think we should talk about this, which is people's fears of losing their jobs. There are many, many factors that make people unwilling. This is, again, traditional change management, and that methodology and that science ought to be part of this exercise. And the final point, again, about their being unable is not a minimal point. When people are asked to do something entirely different, and Stephan himself is very involved with thinking about the future of work and reset their entire job situation, we need to think about how you upskill people and how you provide transitions and how you provide pilots and experimentation and ways in which you are retraining adults to do things they were not equipped to do previously. So the work of change management is absolutely essential to being able to ensure that AI gets the benefits that we all hope it will provide. In order for employees to be comfortable and to, in fact, accept change, there are 5 techniques that I think are critical to mitigating the problems of people being either unwilling or unable. On the unwilling side, we need to do the following. 1, inform. Be sure people are communicated to. 2, incent. Be sure there are some benefits associated with it. 3, and I want to be sure this is very well understood, include, involve as early and as often as possible the employees in the adoption, in the development and the adoption of AI. 4th, they need to be inspired to the possibility of this being a very exciting future. And finally, when it comes to their inability, they need to be instructed. I could have said trained, but it didn't begin with I, so 5 words beginning with I. That's what I would suggest in order to be able to ensure that this gets implemented effectively.
Inform, incent, include, involve, instruct. Each of these is critical to successfully unlocking the power of AI in the modern workforce. And what can support each of these techniques is having a clear value proposition behind what AI brings to your workforce. Here's Professor Meier with more.
I think it's very important for leaders to assure their employees that what they actually want to do is augment and not replace their employees. Now, this is not so easy to do, but one way of doing that concretely is to move away from jobs and thinking about tasks. Because what AI really does, it does certain tasks really well in order to free up capacity for the humans to concentrate on something else. So when you think about wealth management and Morgan Stanley as a concrete example, they figured out, there are certain tasks that the financial advisor does that the machine can actually do better. That allows the financial advisor to spend less time on those activities and more time of those that are actually value enhancing, which turns out to be talking to clients, having meetings, figuring out what is really the human need of their clients is very, very value enhancing. But before AI came to the picture, they were not able to spend as much time on it. I think we're over-indexed a little bit too much on technology and not as much on the human side of it. I mean, I'm arguing really strongly that we need to understand kind of the oldest processor in the world, which is the human brain, and figure out, what actually motivates people at work and how can we use technology to enhance those motivators and not destroy it. Think about one of the basic motivators, which is autonomy or trust. You can obviously use technology and AI in particular to control your employees much better. Instead, we should think about how can we use technology and AI in particular to empower our employees, to actually make autonomy and empowerment more successful. That mainly works when people have feedback, information that they can actually do better in their job and make the right decisions. In my book, I talk about 4 basic motivators that are important for engagement for humans at work. The first one is purpose and meaning. The second one is autonomy, and the flip side is trust. The third one is competence, or the right skills. And the fourth one is relatedness, or what I call like working together works. Now you can think about those 4 motivators and how AI can enhance those and not destroy them. And if you implement it with those humans in mind, I think you're creating a very effectively human-centric future of work.
I hope you enjoyed hearing from Professor Stephan Meier and Todd Jick on how AI is reshaping the workplace and transforming the future of work. Quick closing words from me. As more AI success stories become public, from the simplest to the most complex, generally, humans are critical to its success. And with no signs of this changing, Professor Meier and Jick's human-centric approach to AI implementation is just too important not to prioritize, regardless if your organization is in the mature or nascent stages of this transformation. I like to say, humans, creativity, technology. In that order, always. You can learn more about how to successfully integrate AI into your workplace in the latest issue of Columbia Business Magazine, which is available online. Just go to business.columbia.edu/insights/magazine to learn more. Thanks for listening.